Examine the Bitcoin pattern following a halving. For those who may not be aware, the process of creating Bitcoins involves solving intricate mathematical procedures that require a significant investment of time, resources, and money. This is known as the halving, and you receive a certain amount of Bitcoin as payment for solving it, and that award is reduced by half approximately every 4 years. We refer to it as halving. Everyone, hold on a moment. Everyone knows that the cryptocurrency market is always active, but how can you pick the best newsletter for you when there are so many available? Bitcoin Zealous sticks out for being clear and simple. Whether you're an expert in cryptocurrency or completely new to it, we've created an experience that anyone can enjoy. Guess who watches over us now? The best-selling author of Rich Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, poor guy. We read each and every comment, and the greatest part, we would want to use this time to thank everyone who has trusted us. It's cost-free. You can receive all fresh information for free if you subscribe today. Keep ahead of the trends rather than just following them. Join Bitcoinzilla now to take advantage of the new advantage. In this video, Chamath Palihapitiya discusses the Bitcoin halving occurrences and provides some crucial information on the price fluctuations of Bitcoin during the previous 3 half cycles. In addition, Chamath provides us with an update on the last April halving as well as predictions for Bitcoin's future movements. So let's go right into the video without wasting any time. I saw someone this week who served as a reminder of all of this, and I simply want to properly acknowledge this guy. Wences Caceres is his name then. Furthermore, Wences in Silicon Valley was in my opinion, the original Bitcoin agent. It was him who first showed it to me in 2010. He told me about the story I seem to recall. In fact, he seemed to be Argentinian to us when we were at Warren's Hummus. His nationality is Greek. I will therefore attempt to mimic his accent. After hearing the narrative, I became enamored with it. I recall telling my family office to purchase me 1 million of these items over the phone. And he said something like maybe $1 million? And he said, "Are you nuts?" And I said, "No, that's only a small appetizer. Next, we'll discuss the main course." In any case, he has done an amazing job of advocating for and comprehending Bitcoin. I would like to express my gratitude to him for introducing me to this. However, he told me a few days ago that I should take a closer look at Bitcoin's trend following a halving. Therefore, I was quite interested. So I had Quentin, a man on my team, put this together. Okay, Nick, let's turn to page 1. What makes this fascinating then? So for your perusal, here is a brief examination of Bitcoin prices. Consequently, there have been a few cycles of halves. And I invited him to return and examine the price performance after 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, and 18 months following the halving. And you'll see that when a Bitcoin halving first occurs, there are these little intervals during which people are essentially reevaluating the situation and making an effort to understand it. That is approximately what I would say occurs in the first month and in the first 3 months as well. However, once these things happen for 6 months to a year and a half, there are these insane cycles of price appreciation. This article therefore illustrates that the price of Bitcoin increased 45 times within 18 months following the initial halving. Following the second halving, it gave back about 28 times. And following this third halving, it yielded returns of about 8 times, which is quite remarkable for such a short amount of time. Edward Snowden, an NSA leaker, reaffirmed his support for Bitcoin BTC on Monday. Following a major market disturbance caused by a technical problem on the New York Stock Exchange NYSE, Berkshire Hathaway shares fell by 99%. This was the time that Snowden made his remarks. Discussions concerning the stability and dependability of traditional banking systems in comparison to decentralized alternatives have been rekindled by this episode. Among the impacted Berkshire Hathaway equities, Warren Buffett's storied investment had sharp and incorrect decreases in value at about 99%. The malfunction caused shares of Berkshire Hathaway, which normally traded at almost $622,000, to plummet sharply to only $185. Later, the incorrect pricing was changed. Edward Snowden responded to this incident by taking GiveX and said, "Bitcoin fixes this." Snowden's acerbic remark highlights his conviction that decentralized financial solutions are superior to conventional centralized exchanges. As a decentralized digital money, Bitcoin runs independently on a peer-to-peer network. This arrangement is in stark contrast to traditional stock exchanges, where systemic risks like the one caused by the recent Noik glitch can arise from centralized control. The 3 main goals of Bitcoin's design are security, immutability, and transparency. Bitcoin is the result of centralized mistakes or technical problems, lowering the possibility of such disastrous disasters. The fact that Snowden supports Bitcoin in this particular situation demonstrates how resilient the cryptocurrency is to threats to established financial systems. Snowden suggests that because Bitcoin is decentralized, such financial system disruptions might be avoided, making it a more dependable option for trading than conventional platforms. This is what he means when he points out that Bitcoin fixes this. Notably, since its launch, Bitcoin has maintained an uptime of 99.989%. This astounding degree of dependability is evidence of how strong the blockchain technology is that powers it. In the early days of Bitcoin, there were only two known incidents. The value overflow incident in 2010, a flaw, allowed billions of BTC to appear out of thin air in the temporary blockchain fork in 2013, a result of an incompatible software upgrade. The quick resolution of both issues by the core developers increased the robustness of Bitcoin. If you turn the page over, thus, if you graph it, this is what you see as the price performance following each of these cycles of halves. Why is that interesting now? It's intriguing because if past performance is any indication, there should be some price growth in addition to this halving. Of course, the other thing that has occurred is the commercialization of Bitcoin, and we discussed this as a kind of grand forecast for 2024. Namely, that these ETFs will actually enable Bitcoin to pass the threshold and experience a sort of pivotal moment. Using the averages, then remember, these are only averages, will yield results that are by no means predictive. All right, allow me to clarify that. We use these and applied them to the Bitcoin price. You can begin to glimpse what might occur if you turn to the following page. To be clear, you're only performing cycles 2 and 3 here. If you take the average of the last several cycles, you start to, because the first cycle was so dramatic. When you take just the averages of cycles 2 and 3, you can begin to see some quite significant appreciation. I spoke with Wences about this, and his explanation, which makes a lot of sense in my opinion, was that many nations will never consider looking into Bitcoin. Astonishingly, even if they endorse it. The United States of America might be among such, but a growing number of nations will adopt dual currencies. They will also examine their native currency before turning to Bitcoin. They'll also say that you require both of these items. One is when you often transact for unrelated items and services. And two, you'll use something like Bitcoin when you need to purchase a permanent asset with residual worth. And that strikes me as being a really potent idea. Based on the price trend, it appears that if this asset reaches these levels of appreciation, gold will be entirely replaced and it will start to serve as a transactional tool for physical goods. I believe you start to see some really fascinating opportunities if you combine that with the concern that some people have about the depreciation of the currency. Indicates that the asset's price is expected to rise in the upcoming month. Significant amounts of Bitcoin are still being purchased and held by large holders, which lowers the amount available on the market. Price pressure is generated by the reduced supply, steady demand from institutional investors as a result of ETF approvals and retail buying pressure from short-term holders. If the current accumulation pattern continues, the price of Bitcoin may stabilize or possibly rise. Whales that retain their postures are displaying confidence. According to a CryptoQuint chart, wallets with 10,000, 100,000 BTC have continuously amassed and surpassed previous record highs in supply. Even with little swings in the odd profit-taking during price peaks, these middle-sized Bitcoin holders continue to build up their holdings. This accumulating trend suggests that even in times of market instability, whales have a strong belief in the future worth of Bitcoin. Additionally, remember to sign up for Bitcoin Sella. Every day, the most significant news will be in your mailbox at no cost. I'm not sure why you haven't signed up.